Good afternoon, Shivani. Okay. So, guys, in yesterday class, we have studied about the biotechnological principle and the process, right? So, can you recall whatever the thing you studied yesterday? Whichever the process you studied yesterday, can you recall, guys? Can you recall whichever the process you have studied yesterday? Fast, guys, fast, fast, fast. Everyone have to tell one by one, okay? Fast, fast, guys. We have to go with the application, right? Tell me in the chat box. Tell me in the chat box whichever the processes you have learned in biotechnology. Fast, guys. No one is answering till now. Answer me fast. Processes you have used in the biotechnology. Okay, we will go through the questions. Okay. Okay, we will recall by the questions. Okay. So, guys, here is the question for you. Which vector is commonly used in transfer of a gene in crop plant? Okay. So, I am repeating once again. Which vector is commonly used in transfer of gene in a crop plant? Okay, crop plant I am telling. Okay. So, here is the option for you guys. Option A, Plasmid of subtilis. Option B, bacteriophage. Option C, Ti plasmid of agrobacterium. Option D, E. coli phage bacteria. Very good, Shivani. Your answer is correct, ma. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm going to. So, guys, before going to start the class, tell me whether I'm audible and the screen is visible. Tell me first, guys. Okay. Okay. Answer to this question, guys. Fast. I'm going to give you only 20 seconds for this question. It is very easy question, no? So only 20 seconds. Okay. Fast, fast, guys. 10 seconds left. Fast. Fast, guys. Okay. I'm going to give you 10 more seconds for you. Answer fast, guys. Okay. 30 seconds over. I'm going to end the poll. Okay, guys. See here. So no one chosen option A and option B. So all of them chosen. So 50% have chosen option C. 50% have chosen option D. Okay. So guys, I have told you yesterday that in the plant, we are using the plasmid. So that is the Ti plasmid of the agrobacterium. Okay. It is soil bacteria. It is a gram-negative bacteria we are using. So here, so the agrobacterium, so the option C is the correct answer. Okay. Option C is the correct answer. So what we are doing in the Ti plasmid is, we know that whenever the Ti plasmid is in the normal condition, that bacteria, so it is going to infect the plant and it is going to cause which disease, guys? Which disease is it? It is going to cause crown gall disease, right? It is going to cause the crown gall disease. So what is the reason for causing the crown gall disease, guys? So it is going to synthesize so two types of the hormones. So that is the auxin, this is the plant hormone, auxin and the cytokinin. Okay. So this is the reason for overgrowth of the plant. Okay. So that is going to cause the crown gall disease. So we are going to use the Ti plasmid for the transferring the gene to the plant. Okay. Not the E. coli phage, not the subtilis, not the bacteriophage. So bacteriophage is going to infect the bacteria, right? It is not going to use in the plants. Okay. In the E. coli phage also, it is going to infect the E. coli. So phage means it is a virus, right? We are not going to use here. Okay. Okay. Here is another question, guys. Answer me. So the Taq polymerase enzyme is obtained from. Okay, it was asked in the NEET 2016. Answer me. So option A is Thermus aquaticus. Option B, Thiobacillus ferroxidans. Option C, Bacillus subtilis. Option D, Pseudomonas subtilis. Okay. Can you answer me, guys, in the poll? I'm launching the poll. Answer me in the poll. Very good, Shivani. Yes. Your answer is correct. So fast, guys. Fast. So tell me in the chat box, guys. No problem. Tell me in the chat box. Answer. Tell me in the chat box. Fast, guys. Fast. Okay, guys. The correct option is Thermus aquaticus, right? So here the Taq polymerase is going here. Taq polymerase we are going to use in the polymerase chain reaction, right? Where we are going to use it is in the polymerase chain reaction, PCR, right? So that is from the Thermus aquaticus, right? Okay. So A is the correct option. Okay, guys. Now tell me, here is another question. A gene whose expression help to identify transformed cell is known as. Okay. So if we are going to transform the plasmid, so in that, which is going to identify as the cells was transformed. Okay. Here is option A is plasmid. Option B is selectable marker. Option C is structural gene. Option D is vector. Guys, I'm not going to run the poll. Answer me in the chat box. Fast. Everyone has to answer fast. Fast. Yes, Shivani, very good. Answer me fast, guys. Mitesh, Shilpa, Jayashri, Kushi, PSS. Answer me fast, guys. Answer me in the chat box. Option B is the correct answer, right? The gene whose expression is going to help to identify the transformed cell is a selectable marker. Yes, very good. So it is a selectable marker. So selectable marker is present in the plasmid itself only, right? Can you tell me the example of the selectable marker? So tetracycline, ampicillin, tetracycline, ampicillin. So these are the antibiotic resistant genes which we are going to use as a selectable marker, right? So structural gene, no, it is not going to give any transformed like that things. Okay, it is also wrong, and the vector is also wrong. Plasmid is also wrong. Okay. Yes. 1 minute. If screen is not visible, 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute, guys. Now it is visible, ma? Okay, sorry, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, it is a selectable marker, right? Okay. Now let us come to the another question. There is a restriction endonucleases called as EcoR1, right? Yesterday we have already studied about this. So what does CO part in it stand for? Now you have to tell me what does CO part in this stand for. Guys, answer me to this question. So what is this CO means? So the option A is CO means coli. Okay, COLI coli. And option B is colon, C-O-L-O-N, colon. Option C is cofactor. Option D is none of the above. Answer me fast, guys. Yes, Mitesh? No, Mitesh? Shivani? No? So kindly observe that what I'm asking, CO. CO means. Okay, guys. So here, CO means what I have explained to you when I'm going to do the nomenclature of the restriction enzymes, right? So yes, Shivani, E. Very good, ma. Yes. So here, E. E means what? He stands for genus name, right? First letter. Okay, always, whenever it comes to the nomenclature of the endonuclease, first letter will be the genus. Okay, first letter will be the genus, right? And second two letter is there, no? So that is species. So that stand for. So second two letters is for species. Right, guys? Species. So here the correct answer is coli. Okay. In the E. coli, so E will come from the Escherichia and CO means coli. Okay, coli. R. Here R is stand for the strain. Okay. So third letter will be the strain here. Okay. So R is the strain. So that strain is the RY13. Right. So then, so one is stand for the order of identification. Order of identification. Right. So that's why CO means here coli. Okay. Guys, did you understood this? Tell me if you understood this. Okay, Shivani. So correct answer is coli. Okay. Okay, guys. Now let us come to the application of the biotechnology. Okay. So guys, so here I have given that. So option to increase the food production. So this is very important in the biotechnology, right? So this is very important in the agriculture. So if we want to increase the food production, okay. So now you tell me, so if we want to increase the food production, what are the methods we have to use? Okay, what are the methods we have to use? Tell me guys in the chat box. Here, first we have used the agrochemical based agriculture. Okay. So guys, what is this agrochemical based agriculture? Agro means what? Agriculture, right? So in the agriculture, we are using the chemicals. So here the chemicals may be a pesticides or insecticides, any chemical, pesticide, insecticides or the herbicide, okay, to improve the crop. Okay, so here you can see in the 1960, guys, we know that our India is going to, our India is increases the population, right? It is day by day, it is going to increase the population. So to meet the need for the foods for the population, we must increase the food production also, right? It is not very easy to increase the food production, right? So here, by using the agrochemical based agriculture, so here, so we have increases the food production by triple, okay, by triple. So guys, can you tell me, so it is by the green revolution, it is called as a green in the 1960, it is called as green revolution. Okay. So what we did in the green revolution is we increases the food production by triple. Okay. So by triple we increase the food production, guys. Can you tell me who is the father of green revolution, guys? Who is the father of green revolution? Tell me in the chat box. Who is the father of green revolution? No. Shiva Dasari, sir? No. Sorry, Shiva Dasari? No. How come Subramanya, sir? Tell me fast. Who is the father of green revolution? No. Okay. So guys, you have to think, right? So the father of the green revolution is M.S. Swaminathan. Okay. M.S. Swaminathan. Okay. So guys, is it good to use the chemicals in the agriculture? So it is not at all easy. It is not at all good to the environment, and it is causes the hazardous to the environment, right? So that's why then after that sometime we are shifted to the organic agriculture. Okay. What we have did in the organic agriculture is we have used the biofertilizers, okay, which are prepared by the bioorganism. So we have prepared the organic we have used the organic agriculture for increasing the food production. Okay, so guys, now tell me, so by these two method also it is not sufficient to increase the food production. Okay, so for that the another method was came, so that is possible by the genetically engineered crop based agriculture. Okay, so here we have used the genetically engineered crop based agriculture. Okay, so guys, what we are going to do in this thing is we are going to add the specific genes in the plants, thereby making the plant to increase the food production. And also the means how we are going to increase the food production means by adding some by adding some insect resistance and pest resistance gene to that. Okay, so the plants will easily overcome from that pest, and it is going to increase the food production. So right. Okay, so this is what we did in the genetically, so crop yield will be increased by this method. Okay, so okay guys, now let us come to the applications of the biotechnology in the agriculture. Okay, we have seen that application of this biotechnology everywhere, for example in agriculture and in the medicine and in the industries also, right? So now we will study about in the agriculture what are their applications. Okay, so guys, it made so crops more tolerant to the abiotic stress. Okay. So when it comes to the abiotic, it may be a cold, very cold condition, and it may be a drought condition, means there is no water on that condition, and very high salt condition and the heat. Okay. So here we have modified the plant to resist to that to resist to this abiotic stresses. Okay. So then the second point is reduced reliance on chemical pesticides. Okay, so guys, so I have already told you that using these pesticides and insecticide, it is causing the hazardous to the environment, right? So to decrease this, so biotechnology, by using the biotechnology, we have prepared the modified plant. For that modified plant, we do not require any insecticides or the any pesticides for that. Okay, so thereby it reduced the using the chemical pesticides. Okay, and third one was it helped to reduce the post harvestal loss. Okay, so it was reduced the post harvestal loss. So the example is you can take the tomato. Okay, so here you can see the tomato. So when we harvested that, so we have to deliver and we have to deliver to the market very fast. Okay, because it is going to be ripen fastly, right? So guys, here we are, by using the biotechnology, we have reduced that loss also. Okay, in the coming slides you will get to know about that. So second and next thing was increase the efficiency of mineral usage by the plants. So this prevent early exhaustion of the fertility of the soil. Okay, so genetically modified plant was very quickly, and it was used the minerals present in the soil very properly. Okay, compared to the normal plant. Okay, so then last thing was enhances the nutritional value of the food. Example, golden rice. Okay, so golden rice is a very rich in the vitamin A. Okay, so here we have enhanced the nutritional value in the normal rice. When we take the normal rice, there is a vitamin A was very less, right? So vitamins are very less, and vitamin A. So here what we used in the golden rice is we have added the pro vitamins in the golden rice. Okay, so guys, whenever it comes to the golden rice, you should not tell that vitamins. Okay, if in the option they are given uh, pro vitamins, means you have to take that option. Okay, okay guys. Okay. Okay guys, now let us come to the insect resistance in the transgenic plant. Okay. So guys, here I am taking the example of BT cotton. Okay. Can anyone tell me what is this BT means? Have you heard, right? So that is a BT cotton, BT brinjal, like that. So BT corn. Can anyone tell me what is this BT? Tell me guys, what is this BT? Jai Shri, PAS Shilpa, Mitesh, Kaushi. Tell me guys, what is this BT means? Guys, actively involve in the class. Don't waste your time. Yes, Shivani, very good, ma. Yes, it is Bacillus thuringiensis, right? Yes, it is. BT means Bacillus thuringiensis. Bacillus thuringiensis. Okay, so now tell me, what is this? Yes, Akanksha. Yes, correct. So Bacillus thuringiensis. So guys, here Bacillus thuringiensis is the bacteria. Okay, it was rod-shaped bacteria. It is gram-negative, rod-shaped bacteria. Okay, so guys, what we have done in the BT cotton? Okay, I will tell you. So here there is a one bacteria. Okay, so that bacteria name is Bacillus thuringiensis. Okay, so this Bacillus thuringiensis will produce the some type of the toxins. Okay, so this is the bacteria. It is going to produce some type of the toxins. Okay, so these toxins were, when it is taken by the worms, so that is the insects, it is going to die. Okay, it is going to cause the death of that insect. So what they did in the biotechnology is to resistance for the insect. So what they have took the gene which is causing this toxin. Okay, so the gene name is crygene. Okay, they have took this crygene. Okay, so after that what they have did is, so they have inserted this crygene in a plant. Okay, they have inserted this crygene in a plant. So guys, you know that what is the central dogma of molecular biology, right? So in the central dogma of molecular biology, it is converted, DNA is converted into RNA. So then RNA is converted into the protein, right? The same thing here happened, guys. They have taken the gene here. So this gene is converted in the plant, this gene in the plant, it is converted into the mRNA and it is converted into the protein. Okay, so here the toxin was produced. So guys, the main thing here is the complete toxin was not produced here. Okay, so here the toxin produced was prototoxin. Prototoxin, or it is also called as inactive toxin. Inactive toxin. Okay, it is in the inactive form. When it is present in the bacteria and when it is present in the plant, it was in the inactive form. Okay, so it is in the inactive form. So there are two main genes. There are two main genes involved in this. I will tell you which are those genes. For different crops, guys, we will use the different types of the genes. Okay, so here you have to remember the main types of the genes here is. So the first one is TRY, Cry1 AC. Okay. So the second one was Cry1 AB. Okay. The third one was Cry2 AB. Okay. These are the three genes which we use it for the different crops. Okay. So which we use it for the different crops. So this Cry1 AB we will use in the corn. Okay. We will use in the corn. So these two genes we will use in the cotton for the bollworms. Okay, for the bollworms. Okay. So guys, here you have any confusion? Tell me, did you understood this, guys? PSS, Jai Shri. Mayuri, Mitesh, Shilpa. Tell me guys, Jayashree. Yes, okay. So have I told you that, right? So Bt cotton here means Bt means Bacillus thuringiensis. We have taken a gene that is a crygene from the bacteria. So then we are going to insert into the plant. Okay. In the plant, so the protein was synthesized in the inactive form or the prototoxin form. So now what will happen? Let us see, guys. Now we have a plant. So that is having the prototoxin in it. Okay. Okay. Now let us see here. Okay. So guys, whenever this worm, okay, whenever this insect bite the plant, okay, here is the plant. I'm not very good in diagrams, okay. 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 So this insect is going to eat this leaves, okay. When this insect eat this leaves, it is the insect which is having the, in the saliva, it is having the some basic. So that is, the saliva is basic in nature, or it is also called as a alkaline nature. Okay. So that saliva is in alkaline nature. Okay. Alkaline nature, it is also called as a basic. Okay. So what happened, guys? Now, when it eats this leaves, so it is going to produce its saliva, right? By that saliva, so that toxin is in the inactive form, right? So it is going to convert into the active form by the alkaline condition of the saliva. Okay. So after that, what happened? So activated toxin will move to the gut of the gut of this worm. Okay. So after it is moving to the gut of this worm, this going to bite. It is going to bind on the receptor present on the epithelial cell, which is present on the midgut. Okay, midgut. Remember that, guys. In the exam, they may ask you which part of the gut. Okay, so it is binded on the epithelial cell, which is present on the midgut. Okay, so after that, what it will happen? So it is binded on the receptor on the epithelial cell, right? So now it is causing some pores on the epithelial cell. Okay, so this is the epithelial cell receptor. When it binds to this receptor, it is going to cause some pore-like structure in it. Okay, some pore-like structure in it. What happened, guys, when pore was happened to this cell? So all the things which is present in the cell will go out, and outer things will come inside, and it is going to cause the osmolysis of that cell. Okay, it is going to cause osmolysis of that cell. Okay, so after the osmolysis, the worm is not going to live, so it is going to die. Okay, so this is how the pathway is going to take place. Okay, guys, did you understood this? Tell me, guys, did you understood this? So how Bt toxin is going to kill the insect? Okay, Shivani. Akanksha, Kaushal, Mayuri, Shilpa. Okay, ma. If you understood me, then okay. We will go to the next. Okay. Okay. So here is the question for you guys. So crygene, which is synthesized crystal protein. Okay. So that protein which is synthesized from the crygene, it is called as a crystal protein. So it is isolated from option A, Bacillus rhizobium. Option B, Bacillus thuringiensis. Option C, Rhizobium. Option D, Clasprodium. Okay, now answer me in the chat box, guys. Very good, Shivani. Yes, ma, correct. Tell me, guys. Tell me your answer in the chat box. Fast, guys. Yes, Akanksha. Very good, ma. Yes, correct answer. Yes. So here, the crygene was isolated from the Bacillus thuringiensis, right? So the correct option is Bacillus thuringiensis. Right, guys? Okay. Now let us come to the pest resistant plant. Okay. So guys, here you are observing that. So here observing that. So that is the tobacco plant. Okay, tobacco roots. Okay, you are observing here tobacco roots. Here the nematode, so that is Meloidigme incognitia. Okay, so this nematode is going to cause so this type of the things in the tobacco plant. Okay, so that is the disease type thing. Okay, so now so the biotechnology has some application here. Okay, so that is here it is used the RNA interference. RNA interference. Okay, so guys, can you tell me what is the RNA interference? So guys, can you tell me what is this RNA interference? So RNA interference is silencing of the gene. Okay, it is a type of the immune response. Okay, it is a type of the, so it is called as silencing of gene in the eukaryotes. Okay, silencing of gene in eukaryotes. It is widely used in the eukaryotes, guys. Okay, in the silencing of the gene. What happened in the eukaryotes is some proteins are constantly prepared, right? So to limit that protein synthesis, whenever the RNA was synthesized, it is going to block that RNA. Okay, so by silencing that RNA, so that is why. So it is called as a RNA interference. Okay, it was a silencing of the gene in the eukaryotes. Okay, so here that method was utilized in the pest resistant plant. Okay, so guys, what they have to here you can see here. So first what they have to do is they have took the DNA. Okay, so they have took the gene. So specific gene which is required for the survival of that nematode. Okay, so they have took the specific gene. Okay, specific gene. So specific gene. So that is required for survival of that nematode. Required for survival of nematode. Okay, so now what will happen? So this is the DNA we have taken, right? So this is the gene. So now guys, see here that we inserted into the plant. Okay, so that we inserted into the plant. Inserted into plant. Now I will tell you what are the process involved in this. Okay, so how this double-stranded DNA, so that is gene, is going to convert it into the antisense RNA to inhibit or cleave that nematode gene. Okay, now let us see. So guys, see here, double-stranded RNAs so are processed into the approximately 21 to 23 nucleotide RNA with the nucleotide. So guys, I have told you that. So we have inserted the, by using the Agrobacterium TI plasmid, we have inserted the gene to the plant. Okay, which gene? So that is the nematode specific gene. Okay, what happens next in the plant? So that nematode specific gene was converted into the double-stranded RNA by the process of RNA interference. Okay, so now what will happen? So this double-stranded DNA is very long, right? It was very long like this. It was very long like this. Okay, so this is a double-stranded RNA. So it is consisting of one sense and another antisense. Antisense. Okay, so now what will happen, guys? So the mRNA which is produced, right? Which mRNA which is produced inside the nematode, right? So for I have told you that. So the nematode specific gene, so that is required for the survival of the nematode, right? So that nematode mRNA was synthesized inside the nematode, right? So that is the sense. Okay, so that is called as a sense mRNA. So here we have taken the antisense mRNA. It is present in the plant now. Okay, so now what will happen? We will see. Okay, so here there is a double strand. One is a sense and another one is the antisense. Okay, so it is very long. It was cleaved piece. Okay, it was cleaved small fragment by using the dicer. Okay, by using the enzyme. So that is called as a dicer. So here you can see an RNase. It is a RNase enzyme. So that dicer cuts the double-stranded RNA molecule into the small interference siRNA. Okay, so now there is a small fragment, right? So now it is called as a siRNA. Okay. Now what will happen? For this siRNA, there is another complex. So that is called as a RISC. Okay. So for this mRNA, so the another complex RISC is going to bind. Okay. So this is called as the RISC, means RNA-induced silencing complex. If this is a double strand RNA, for this, the RISC complex is going to bind like this. Okay. Now we have a double stranded RNA. Now what will happen in the RISC? So one strand of the RNA, it is going to eliminate. Okay. It is going to denature this double stranded RNA, and it is going to take only one RNA. Okay. One strand of the RNA. So that is called as antisense RNA. Okay. See here, guys. So the siRNA will unwind and RISC is activated now. Okay. So it is like this. Okay. So here you are seeing, so there is a double strand here present, right? So now this RISC complex has only one strand of the RNA. So that is antisense. Okay, antisense. Okay. So now what will happen? So this activated RISC targets the complementary mRNA and cuts the transcription in the area where siRNA binds to the miRNA. Okay. So now guys, what will happen? So this antisense RNA, it is going to bind on the sense RNA. Okay, sense mRNA. Where is the sense mRNA will come? It comes from the nematode. Okay, it is present in the nematode. In the nematode, this antisense mRNA, it is going to bind to this sense mRNA, and now this RISC complex is going to degrade this sense mRNA from the nematode. So thereby degrading the important protein, important mRNA, which is in the nematode, and it is causing the death of that nematode. You can see here, guys. Okay. So here we have added through the plasmid, we have added the double stranded DNA, right? So double stranded DNA, right? So now it is, so that double stranded DNA is converted into the RNA. So then, so there is a double stranded RNA was converted now. Okay. So it is having both sense and antisense. Okay. So both sense and the antisense mRNA here. Okay. So now it is very long. So the dicer is going to cleave this into the smaller pieces. Okay. So guys, you can see here now, whenever this insect, whenever this pesticide going to infect this, when it going to bite or infect this plant cell, now this double stranded DNA, so this double stranded RNA molecule is going to enter into this pesticide. Okay, pest. So now what will happen, guys? Pest. Okay. So here this double stranded RNA, it is going to processes in the pest. Okay. So what happened here? You can see this double stranded DNA, double stranded RNA now. Sorry guys, I'm coming that DNA only. Okay. So this double stranded RNA now, it is going to bind to the RISC complex. Okay. So now unwinding of this double stranded RNA will take place. Now in the RISC, there is only one RNA. So that is called as the antisense RNA. Antisense RNA. So now this antisense RNA, which is going to bind to the mRNA, which is synthesized in the pest. Okay. So here this is the antisense RNA. So you can, I will take the purple color for the sense, which is produced in the nematode. Okay. This produced in the nematode. So guys, see here, it was very complementary to the mRNA, which is produced from the nematode, right? So now it is going to bind a complementary thing, complementary basis. Now, so there is a RISC complex, right? So there is a RISC complex. So it is going to cleave this into the smaller fragment. Okay, it is going to cleave it into the smaller fragment, thereby inhibiting the secretion of that protein, thereby inhibiting secretion of that protein and inhibiting the protein synthesis and cause the death of that pest, cause death of pest. So that is a nematode. Okay. So guys, do you have confusion in this? Tell me. Do you have any confusion in this? So guys, did you understood this? Tell me, otherwise I will repeat once again. Akanksha, Mayuri, Shilpa. Mayuri, did you understood this, ma? Tell me in the chat box, guys. Did you understood this? Mayuri? Okay. So this is called as the RNA interference, where this RNA which is produced artificially, okay, this produced artificially, it is going to form a complementary base pair with the normal RNA which is produced inside the nematode and causing the base pair of this antisense mRNA, and where this complex will cleave at the specific in the it will cleave the mRNA in the nematode. Okay. Okay, guys. Now let us come to the biotechnology application in the medicine. Okay. So guys, another one thing is there. So that is the biotechnology application. I have told you that flavor sour tomato, right? So the flavor sour is the genetically modified tomato. So the same thing happens in the flavor sour tomato also. So that is the RNA interference method. Okay. So here what they are doing in the flavor sour is, so they are going to inhibit the production of galactourase. Okay, it is going to inhibit the polygalactourase. Yes, polygalactourase enzyme. Okay, it is going to inhibit the polygalactourase enzyme which is present in the tomato, which is responsible for the ripening of the tomato. Ripening of tomato. Okay, so thereby it is going to reduce the ripening by. So what is the function of this polygalactourase is, it is going to inhibit. So sorry, it is going to remove some you in the. So if you take this is the tomato, it is having the outer covering, right? So it is going to cleave this outer covering. So that is called as the polygalactourase enzyme. So that is the function of this enzyme. Okay. So when this enzyme was inhibited, it is not possible for that polygalactourase enzyme to cleave that and to ripen the fruits. Okay. So that is the main function in the biotechnology, where we took the RNA interference for the polygalactourase enzyme. Okay. Okay, guys. Now let us come to the biotechnology application in the medicines. Okay. So guys, we have prepared the genetically engineered insulin, right? So now tell me, so here is that RNA is going to be processed in the bacterial cell also. Can anyone tell me RNA is going to be processed in the bacterial cell also? It is going to process it in the bacterial cell also. Tell me guys fast. No, right? So there is no RNA splicing or the any modification of the RNA will take place in the bacteria, right? So that is the thing happen. So we cannot get the direct insulin from the bacteria, right? So first we will go to the structure of this insulin. Guys, can anyone tell me? So this insulin is the hormone, right? So this insulin is hyperglycemic or hypoglycemic? Is this hyperglycemic or hypoglycemic? Tell me in the chat box. It is hypoglycemic or hyperglycemic? Fast, guys. It is hyperglycemic. Sorry, guys, hypoglycemic. Hypoglycemic. Right. It is going to decrease the glucose in blood. Right. Can you tell me which is the hypoglycemic hormone? So that is the glucagon, right? Glucagon. So glucagon is going to cause the hypoglycemic, hyperglycemic. Hyper means it is going to increase the glucose level in the blood. Okay, it is going to increase glucose level in blood. Right, guys? So now we'll see about the insulin. Okay, so guys, before insulin is going to be produced, okay, it was in the form of proinsulin. Okay, so what is this proinsulin mean? It was in the inactive form. Okay, proinsulin. So this insulin, proinsulin, consisting of the 3 peptides. So that peptide is A peptide, B peptide, and the C peptide. Okay, so why it is very challenging to produce the genetically modified, so that is genetically engineered insulin is, so this peptide C was not present in the insulin. Okay, in the insulin, so there is presence of only A and B peptide. Okay, so this C peptide is going to cleaved by the method of RNA splicing. Okay, during the RNA splicing or during some modification, it is going to be cleaved. Okay, but it is not in the case of the, when in the bacteria, it is not able to cleave that C peptide. Okay, so that is the reason we have not used the thing. So by complete insulin preparation in the bacteria. Okay, then what we have did. Okay, first we will go to the structure of the insulin. Okay, so guys, chemically insulin is made up of, it is a small and simple, insulin is a small and simple protein, and it is consisting of 51 amino acids. Okay, so here 30 construct the polypeptide A, so that is polypeptide chain B, and the 21 amino acid construct the polypeptide chain A. Okay, so here both the chains are linked by the disulfide bond. Here you can see this is the one chain. So this is called as a polypeptide A. So this is called as a polypeptide B. Here A is consisting of 21 amino acid. Here B is consisting of 30 amino acid. So where these two peptides are linked by the disulfide bond. Okay, so here both the things is connected by the disulfide bond. So here you can see disulfide bond. Okay. So guys, see here. So whenever we want to inject this, whenever we want to insert this insulin gene, we have taken the human DNA. Okay. So human insulin gene. So then we have taken so we have cut it by the restriction endonuclease. Then we joined that into the plasmid. Okay. Then we inserted this into the bacteria. So then, so there is a cloning of the bacteria will take place, and it is given the peptides. So guys, see here, here we have taken the peptide A and peptide B. Okay. So it was separately produced, peptide A and peptide B. Then, so we are added the disulfide bond separately, added disulfide bond separately. Okay, disulfide bond separately. Then now it is completed insulin, right? Now we have got the complete insulin. So first thing what I have told you is, whenever we use the bacterial host, so here there is one problem has came place. So that is the thing is, so it is not going to give a complete insulin, right? So there is a processing should be taken place, and C peptide must be removed, right? So it is not going to take place in the bacteria. So that's why, so one silly company, so that C Lilly company have taken the authorization of this, and they have prepared the polypeptide separately. So that is A peptide and B peptide separately. And they have joined this disulfide bond separately after the creation of this polypeptide. Okay. So now the insulin was produced. So this insulin was using now. Okay. This insulin was using worldwidely. Okay. So guys, did you understood this? Answer me in the chat box if you understood this. For which patient we will use the insulin, guys? Tell me. For which type of the patient we will use the insulin? Answer me in the chat box, guys. For which type of the patients we will use the insulin? For diabetic patients, right? For diabetic patient. Diabetic patients we will use insulin, right? So added disulfide bond here separately to form the insulin. Okay. Now let us come to the gene therapy. So guys, so here gene therapy is a collection of the method that allows the correction of the gene defect. Okay, so that allows the correction of the gene defect that has been diagnosed in the child or in an embryo. Okay, so here the genes are inserted into the person's cells and tissue to treat the disease. Okay, so if anyone is having the gene defect, okay, so if they are having the any gene defect, so that is very important gene. So in that case, what they will do in the gene therapy is they will replace that gene. Okay, they will replace that gene or they will replace that organ. Okay, they will do like that. So it is very wild process. It is not going to take place like that. But the easy thing is replacing the gene is very good thing. Okay, so that's why they have used the therapy. So that is called as a gene therapy. So they are replacing this defective gene. Okay, so replacing the defective gene. Replacing the defective gene with the correct one. Gene with correct one. Okay, or the functional one. Or the functional one. Okay. So this is what the gene therapy, in the gene therapy they will do. So guys, here is the example of the first thing. So here you can see the girl name is Ashanti De Silva. Okay, so her name is Ashanti De Silva. Here you can see the baby, right? So this baby is this girl. Okay, so this girl Ashanti De Silva, Ashanti De Silva was the first genetically therapist. Okay, first gene therapy undergone patient. Okay, so the first gene therapy was first gene therapy. So guys, here this patient, so that is Ashanti De Silva, having the defective gene for the adenosine deaminase, ADA, adenosine deaminase. So this enzyme is very important for the, this enzyme is very important and has the role in the immune system. Okay, immune system. So if there is a loss or defective genes is present, means it is going to cause the SCID. So that is called as several combined immunodeficiency. Okay. So there is causes the several combined immunodeficiency in the patient. Okay. So here, so this girl, so that is Ashanti De Silva, was replaced with this adenosine deaminase enzyme for the gene therapy. Okay, so guys, there are the two methods. For example, so they can take the bone marrow cells. Okay, they can take bone marrow cells, bone marrow cells, bone marrow cells, and they can insert a gene. Okay, they can insert gene and insert that gene, insert that modified one, modified or recombinant one to the again bone marrow, to the again bone marrow, to again bone marrow. They can do like that. Okay. So guys, but we know that the cell can be died, right? So, but it is not a good thing. So they have so the another thing was by removing the bone marrow and replacing with the bone marrow, replacing with the good bone marrow, replacing with another bone marrow. Okay, so the gene therapy will take place like this. Either taking the organ or either taking the cells from the organ and modifying that by inserting the correct gene into it and causing the, and it is going to cause the correct protein in the cell. Okay, so this is the two methods they are used in the gene therapy. Okay, guys. Now let us come to the transgenic animal. So guys, so what is this transgenic animal is? The animal that had their DNA manipulated to possess and express the extra foreign gene are known as the transgenic animals. Okay, is the animal so that has their DNA was manipulated. Okay, so that DNA was manipulated and possess the extra foreign gene. So that is called as a transgenic animal. Okay, so what is the what are the uses of this transgenic animal, guys? Can anyone tell me what is the uses of this transgenic animal? Tell me in the chat box, what is the uses of this transgenic animal? Why we require this transgenic animal? So guys, one more thing is, so in the transgenic animal, we use for the studying the physiology, okay, normal physiology. So for example, you can take any animal we have made the transgenic animal, we can study there how the development is going to take place, right? So how the development is going to take place, and so how the organs and how the cells is going to function. Okay, so that is the first thing. And second thing was to study the diseases. Okay, so to study, for example, for specific disease study, we cannot take a human, right? So on that time, we are going to take this transgenic animal for that studying the diseases and biological byproducts. So I already told you that. So insulin, which is produced, right, from the modified animals, or the from the modified bacteria. So that is why we are going to use this for the biological product. Okay, biological product. And third one is the vaccine safety. So here in the vaccine safety, what will happen, guys? So we have seen that. So when the vaccine for the corona has been came, it is not directly given into the human, right? So it was tested first on the cells and then tested on the animals. Then only they are given for the human, right? Then only after succeeding this all the two process, then they are given to the human. So what happened in this case? If we give directly to the humans, means there is some so there is some resistance, say there is something will happen to the humans, means it is very problematic. So that's why what they will do, first they will give to the transgenic animals, then only they will give to the animals, so then only they will give to the humans. Okay, then here, so there is a fourth thing, then the last thing was chemical safety testing. Okay, so guys, in the chemical safety testing, for example, so any chemicals is produced, or any tablets or any creams which are produced. Okay, so that is not going to give directly to the humans. Okay, they must be get, so they must get treated with the, so they must be tested with the animals. Okay, first they will tested with the cells and they will tested with the animals. If there is no hazardous, then only they will give it to the humans. Okay, so these all the importance of the transgenic animal. Okay, so how we are going to do the transgenic animal? How we are going to prepare the transgenic animal? See here. Okay, so here transgene. Okay, you have one animal. Okay, so you have one cow. There is some um, good characters are present. For example, here we have taken the color. Okay, so here you can see it is a parent, but its color was different. The progeny color was different here, right? So here what we have took is, so here you can see this is the color, right? So here the parent color was gray. So here it was slightly yellow color. Okay, so here you can see we have taken a gene from this, okay, transgene. So now we have cloned into the vector and we have made several copy of this. Okay, so then you can see, so here you can cloning. So the restriction analysis, then we have taken the somatic cells from the fibroblast. Then we transfected this into the transgenic cell. So then what will happen, guys? In the in vitro culture, in the selection media, so the cells with the integrated transgene was taken. Okay. So then it was micro injected. It was micro injected. It was micro injected to the cells, which is taken from this cow. Okay, see here, we have taken the, now this cells was prepared, which is having the transgene. Okay, which is having the transgene. Okay, so now you can see from this cow, so they have taken the metaphase oocyte. Okay, they have taken the metaphase oocyte. So then, so they have removed the nuclei, guys. Okay, they will remove the nuclei, means they have removed the chromosome. Now, in this, there is no chromosomes is present. Okay, so now here you can see they have taken this without the chromosome or the nuclei. So then they are injecting the cells that is from this fibroblast culture. Okay, so after this, so they are going to inject this. Now it is going to have a nuclei, right? Now it is going to have the cell with the nuclei, which is modified gene. So now they are going to inject this into the, then into the oocyte. So that is into the recipient animal. Okay. So guys, here this animal is different, and it is the donor animal and it is the recipient animal. Okay. Now for this recipient animal, so this embryo is going to be transferred now. Okay, so now this embryo is going to develop into this cow, so the recipient animal. And so now you can see here, so the offerings of this is, which is a different color. It is not going to resemble both the parents. Okay, right? This is not going to resemble both the things. It is a gene from the here, and here going to resemble both the character. You can see here it was white, here it was white. This is the white, and the whole body was gray color. Right? So this is the whole, the body was yellow color. Right? This is what takes place in the transgenic animal. So taking from the another animal and taking the gene from the another animal and inserting into the vector, and then inserting by the micro injection to the oocyte, then we are going to they are going to develop into the embryo, and this embryo was going to insert into the recipient animal. Then it is going to develop, and it is going to develop and give the transgenic animal. So in the transgenic animal, it has the mixed DNA. Okay. Okay, guys. Now let us come to the ethical issues. Okay. So you can see in the ethical issues what happened. So modifying any organism is very problematic, right? So modify anything. So here we have every organism have the some different character. So it is going to very problematic when we change the genes of the organism, right? So there is a Indian government has set up the organization such as GEAC. Guys, it is very important. GEAC. Okay, so that is Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. Okay, so if any genetically modified organism or plant or anything is produced, it must be gone through the GEAC. If they permit the thing, then only they have to go with that of the animal or the plant. Otherwise, they should not go with that. Okay, so that is the approval was given by GEAC. Okay, which will make the decision regarding the validity of the genetically modified research and safety introducing the genetically modified organism for the public services. Okay, so they will give the approval whether this organism has to be prepared or not, like that. Okay, so guys, here is the very important thing is patents are granted. Okay, for example, you have created one genetically modified organism. Okay, so for you the patent has been created in the name of you. Okay, like this, you are created, this person is going, this person is the patent of this product. For example, you have created some genetically modified organism like tobacco. So that name will be in yours. Okay, so you can give that process to the others by taking the money. Okay, so no one can use your techniques for making the patent, for making that type of the same type of the modified animal or the plants. Okay, so that is called as the patents are granted by the government. So guys, here is another thing is biopiracy. What do you mean by biopiracy? Here is, it is a term used to refer to use of the bioresources by multinational companies and other organizations without proper authorization from the countries and people concerned without the compensatory payment. Okay. So guys, when it come to the patents, we have seen that. So basmati rice was already produced in the India only. Okay. So like there is a 2 lakh types of the rices are produced in the India. Okay. But when it comes to the US, so it was taken the basmati rice from here from the India, and they have crossed with the dwarf plant. Then they have created the basmati rice, and they have took the patent on the basmati rice. But it was created in India, but they have took the patent. Okay. So it is also called as the biopiracy. Okay. So they have not paid anything for the India, right? So it is the term used to refer that use of the bioresources by the multinational companies and their organization without the proper authorization from the countries and people concerned without the compensatory payment. Okay. So here, whichever the spices are prepared from here, they have took from the other countries, and they have branded with their name. Okay. But it is actually prepared in the India, right? So they have not paid any amount, or they have not paid anything, like the name also they are not given. So simply they are telling that it was prepared in our country like that. So that process is called as a biopiracy. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Uh, Thank you so much, guys. So these questions you can solve me in the home. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Let us meet in the next class. Thank you so much.